We're now chatting with Doreen Avery, who lives in Hillview. And Doreen, where and when were you born?
When was I born?
Yes.
September 25th, 1927.
27. So you're 87 now?
Yeah, I'm in my 88th year now.
Okay. And where were you born?
Pardon?
Where were you?
Oh, Stockton-on-Tees, County Durham, England.
In England. And how did you come to be here in Hillview?
Well, I met this marvellous Newfoundlander that was in the Navy during the Second World War.
Okay, yes.
And the very second time that he met me, he looked at me very, very directly in the eyes and he said, "Will you marry me?"
Wow.
And I said yes. And we were married shortly after.
And his name was?
Nicholas Avery.
And he was from Hillview?
Right.
Okay. And he was in the Navy, was he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, during the Second World War, see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was he stationed when you met?
Pardon?
Where was he stationed?
It was in the south of England.
Okay.
Oh my, I can't remember the name now of where he was, but
okay.
It was a very well-known Navy base, you know.
Right.
No, I can't remember.
Okay.
Can't remember the name of where he was, but as it happened, a friend of ours, now I lived in the north of England, see, and a friend of mine was in the Navy and had met Nicky, and he brought him to Stockton. Stockton-on-Tees I'm from.
Okay.
That's where I was born, whatever. And he brought him to Stockton, and I met him. And the second time that I met him, I remember this, I went into my mum's sister's house, you know, and sat down on Chesterfield in the house. And I had only met him once before that. And I sat down on the Chesterfield, and he was there.
Yeah.
Anyway, girl, he got up, and he stood up, and he came over, and, you know, like you're sat there now.
Right.
He put his hands on each side of me, and looked me right in the face, and he said, "Will you marry me?"
Wow.
And I said, yes.
Wow.
And we got married.
It's amazing.
But
how old were you then?
I was only 17.
Okay.
And anyway, when we went to the church happened to be right, just like the post office is from here, you know, from my house. Went, and he said, no. Now, Nicky was 8 years older than me, see. And he said, so the minister said, no, I won't marry you because he must be married before this, you know. And he said, you're just this, and said, so he vowed he wasn't, you know. So anyway, then I said, well, if that's the case, we'll go to the head man of the Church of England, you know, and there. So we went and told him our story and everything.
Right.
And he interviewed Nicky and everything. And he said, okay, you go back now and he will marry you. So we went back to the church and he married us. And we were married for 65 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
He was a beautiful man. I can't see how lucky I was to ever met a man like him. He's there, though.
Yes. I'll have to take a picture of you after with my camera. And did you have any children?
Two.
Two children.
Terry and Lynette, my daughter. But my daughter died at 34 years old with melanoma.
Oh, okay.
She had a mole just on her shoulder. And I even warned her about it, you know. But she went away to one of these places where it's so sun, you know, a lot of sun. And I said, Lynette. And sure enough, they killed her.
Wow. And you have a son who's still living?
My son lives in town, St. John's.
Okay.
Yeah, Terrence.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the two of my children there, though, on above there. That's my daughter that died.
Yes.
And
yeah.
that's my next door neighbour coming there with my washing. I'm very unfortunate. The veterans looked after me.
Oh, that's great. Great. Yeah.
So she's bringing all the washing. She changed my bed and everything.
Oh, wonderful. Do you want me to stop for a minute?
Yeah.
Now, Doreen, I'm going to ask you about your journey to Newfoundland when you first came here.
Whoa.
What can you tell us about that?
When I came here in 1946 as a war bride? Yeah. Well, I tell you, when I came here, of course I didn't know what I was expecting, you know. So I always remember the first night I was here, we came into Northern Bight Station. Yeah, I suppose you don't even remember nothing. You don't know anything about that, do you?
No.
Station. Now, I came from England, so we had railway stations that had dozens of platforms and everything, you know. So anyway, I got on the train in St. John's. So when we came into Northern Bight, that's about 5 miles from here, you know, on this road. And in 1946, I can tell you, it wasn't. So when we arrived there, Nicky, when we were going to get off his mother was with us. Nicky's mother was with us. So when we were going to get off the train, she happened to say to him, "Nicky, do you have your wallet?" Which, you know, they always, and when he put his hand in his, you know, they always had the wallet in the back pocket. He said, "No." So he said, "Oh my." And as it happened, the carriage that we were sat in, we were at the very last seat. So we knew that, you know, the wallet would probably be safe because we're in the last seat. So he said to me, "Doreen, we're into the station now." Okay. He said, "I'll go back and look for my wallet." He said, "You can get up." So, okay, the train stopped. So, and I stepped off the train, and this man came running and grabbed me around the waist, and he said, "Oh my God, you almost went over this big embankment."
Wow.
And I said, so I looked at him and I said, "But Nicky told me I could get up. We were into the station." He said, "This is the station." I said, "Oh." So I almost got killed or whatever right there and then. So anyway, Nicky came and we got out from here to Hillview, but it was just a gravel road, you know. There's no roads like there is now. It's just gravel paths, you know. And came out all this way. I think it's about 5 miles now from the station.
From where the station was?
Yeah, to where this is now, you know. Over this really gravel road. And of course, we lived right down on the end of this Hillview. We only live here because I was postmaster for 25 years, and Nicky said, "Doreen, you can't come up, you know, in the winter and over the road." So, and you know, I've got to tell you the truth. I do not like it here.
No.
So I told my son, I said, "Terry, when I die, I want to be cremated, and you take my ashes, and the things of our house we still had there, the foundations of our house is still down. We have 10 acres of land down here.
Down in Hillview, further down.
Yeah. And that's where I came, and that's where, as far as I'm concerned, I belong." And anyway, when they asked me to take over the post office in, I think it was 1960, and I said, I didn't know they wanted anyone for the post office. And I said, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "Yeah, we'd like you to take over the post office." And I said, so anyway, well, okay. But he was way down here at the other end of the community, and my husband, Nicky, he said, "Doreen, look, in the winter, when, you know, because at that time there was no roads ploughed or anything, you know. It was all, if you came up in the snow, you had to plough up through the snow, I tell you. And he said, Doreen, there's no way you can go all over there, because the post office was on the other side of the harbour. And I said, well, why not? Yeah, I'm just a young person anyway, I didn't care, but no. And he insisted on building here. And
he wanted to make it convenient for you, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah, made it convenient, but he, you know, I've never liked it. I said, no, I want to be down on the point. So I said, when I die, have me cremated, and take my ashes back down there and scatter them on the foundations of my house. Because I said, then I will be back where I belong. Because that's where I belong, not here. And you wouldn't believe the wind here, my dear.
Is that right?
You know, when you have a storm and thing, it's frightening, you know, really frightening. So.
How many years have you lived in this house?
Pardon?
So you've lived in this house since about 1960? Or?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we built it, and we moved up here, but anyway, so Nicky died in 2010.
Okay.
Out in the veterans' place.
Out in St. John.
He's been on 4 years now.
Okay. How old was he when he died?
Oh gosh, he was what? God, that's 4 years ago. I know he wasn't very young, I can tell you.
No.
He was older than me.
And when you came over from England after the war, did you come in a ship or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I came, and anyway, when we were supposed to come into St. John's, you know, and I remember we were on the boat, and there was a lot of war brides at the time, you know, and every day we'd mark off. They had this map where to mark up where we were, see?
Okay, right.
So we were supposed to be into St. John's on this particular day, and when we came up, you know, to find out where we were, we had gone past it. We almost put the captain over into the boat. I can tell you, wow! I'll never forget that. There was things about 300 of us.
Really? What, war brides?
Oh yeah,
Really?
Shipload, my dear. And we said, you know, we're supposed to be in this place called St. John's now in Newfoundland, you know, and we've passed it. And he said, yes, it was in March. And he said, yes, but I'm sorry to tell you, we couldn't get in there because there was too much ice.
Oh, really?
So we went over to the mainland, you know, and we had to come back.
Where did you land? Where did you go then?
New Brunswick, I think somewhere in New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. Where was it?
Halifax? Or?
Anyway, we went over there, and they said, so we had to wait until we could come back to Newfoundland, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, when we got off when we eventually arrived in St. John's, when we got off, you know, landed, and we started to come off, I think it was Harvey's. There's a place.
Harvey's, right.
This is where the boat came in, see.
Yeah.
And when we got off and coming through, we had to wait until our husbands were allowed to come aboard of the ship to claim us.
Oh, so your husband was already there?
Yeah, in St. John. Oh, yes.
Yes.
And you weren't allowed to get off the boat unless your husband claimed you.
Oh, okay.
So he came, you know. And when we get off, you know, do you know where this Harvey's?
Yes.
Well, when we came in there was hundreds of people there. It was absolutely packed with people. And I remember come off the boat, and even though Nicky was with me, these people coming and grabbing me, and you saying, "Oh, isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely?" I said, "What's going on?" You know. And I said, "Nicky, you know, what's going on? I said to him, what are they doing? He said, Doreen, that's just people here from Newfoundland, you know, working. I said, oh my goodness. Anyway, when we finally got right through, Nicky's mother was with him, waiting, you know. So then from there, we managed to get back to Hillview. So...
On train?
Pardon?
On the train then you came in?
Yes, he came on the train. And that's when he lost his wallet.
Right. And he got his wallet?
And he found the wallet, yeah, because we were in the back seat too, see.
Okay, right.
And he got the wallet. And then I nearly went off, you know, he said, turn me in the station, girlfriend. I nearly went over the embankment. The man grabbed me. And then we came out 5 miles from the station in there, out to Hillview, which of course didn't look like it looked today.
No.
You know, it was very, you know. When we went, I had to go right down through the community till the very end this way. And anyway, it was in the night, so of course we got home and went to bed. And so in the morning, I got up and looked out, you know, out through my bedroom window there. And oh, God, what a gorgeous view.
Really?
From, you know, from down below.
Mm.
And so someone said to me, Doreen, when you first came that night and you got up the next morning, what did you think when you got up and saw it in daylight? And I said, well, I've got to tell you right now, I thought I'd die and come to heaven.
Really?
And I'll never forget that. It was such a gorgeous view, because all this area, you know, way down below, you know, where we are, it was beautiful.
Mm.
And living in a town,
large town, city.
You know, I lived in a beautiful town. It was really nice, the town I lived in. But a town is a town, you know, whatever. And I seen all this land and everything, and so I said, oh yeah, we own 10 acres. Yeah. In fact, the 10 acres, I have it now in my name, you know, down here.
Right.
And I thought it was absolutely gorgeous.
Imagine.
I didn't know, you know, I really did. And I always did, you know. And his parents were so nice. And he had a couple of brothers. And you know, so...
Who were his brothers?
Pardon?
Who were his brothers?
Well, there's William from St. John and Pleeman from... He moved afterwards to Cadillac. He lived right next door, Pleeman, and the house built, you know, on the land. But his brother William, he never lived... He always lived in St. John's after, you know, we grew up there. Pleeman. But they're gone now, you know.
Okay.
Of course.
Did he have sisters?
Pardon?
Did he have any sisters?
He did have a sister, but she died when she was pretty young, I think, from... But they used to have tuberculosis a lot in Newfoundland. Mm. She went to work in Bishop's Falls, you know, like they used to work as a maid or something, I don't know. And she got the tuberculosis and died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what her name was?
I think it was Annie.
Okay.
You know, her name was Annie.
Yeah.
And Pleeman was his brother had the house, and William was the one who lived in St. John's, you know. Okay. Afterwards he moved to St. John's later on, you know. But...
so you were really content living here all your life after that?
Oh, yes. I thought it was a gorgeous place.
Yeah.
I really did, you know.
Mm.
And then in 1960, I think it was, I had a phone call from someone from the Canadian government and said, we want you to take over the post office in Hillview.
Mm.
Why? I wasn't even thinking about anything like that, you know. I said, why would you want me? He said, well, you've been recommended to take over the post office. And there was a bit of a thing about that, because the people who had it, it didn't turn out good, because they didn't think that they shouldn't be there, you know, and they shouldn't think I should be there. So anyway, I said, no, I don't know anything about this. I haven't even thought about it. So, no. Anyway, they insisted, and they said, yeah, you've been recommended, and we want you to take over the post office. And I said, well, Nicky, the post office used to be on the other side of the harbour. I said, I don't feel, because it was always in the name of the Frost family, you know, for years and years and years. I said, I can't do that. So anyway, when the government kept at me, and it wasn't Newfoundland government, it was the Canadian government.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how they come to get my name. And I said, well, okay, if that's the case, you want someone, I'll take it over. But it caused a lot of trouble. They almost tried to kill my husband after that. And yeah, he was really hurt. You know, they attacked him. We had some kind, you know, the school had some kind of a do, you know, like the schools had. And he was attacked, and he was really hurt on account of, because I took over the post office. Anyway, I ended up being there for 25 years. And one time, so at the end of that, so after I was finished with it, they phoned me and said, Doreen, just had this whoever it was there, and they said, you have just been named the most valuable, remember, valuable now, female, you know, of the Canada Post Office. I said, what? Yeah, you've been named as the most valuable postmaster at the post office. I had it for 25 years, and I tell you, it was good. And then I was made a supervisor. You know, after I was there 7 years with the post office, I was made, they said, Doreen, I had a letter come and said, Doreen, we are making you a supervisor of 7 post offices. So, okay. Okay. When it ended up, I was doing every post office from Bonavista to anywhere towards St. John's, you know.
Okay.
And so anyway, Derry Clark was the boss. And he phoned me one time, just out of the blue, you know. He phoned me and said, Doreen, do you ever think of why we're always sending you here, there and everywhere? And I said, and as it happened, I did. I was just saying, why do I have to go there? That has nothing to do with me, you know. And I said, well, sir, yes, actually I do. And he said, you know something? He said, when anything comes up in one of the post offices, you know, kind of trouble or something like that, he'll say, oh, I say, oh, send Doreen in, she'll soon have it straightened out. I said, and I remember I looked, I said, thank you very much, sir. Yeah. Because, you know, I felt uncomfortable, you know, going into an office that was way higher than mine.
Yes.
You know? I said, well, why do they all send me in there, you know? Especially, can you imagine Bonavista? And then one time I had a call saying, Doreen, we wanted you to go into Clarenville for 2 weeks. They had I think they had 13 people working there, and I was here in Hillview.
And just yourself.
Oh, God. So anyway, I went in, and anyways, so they all used to get together, you know, and they had this little room, you know, where they'd have the coffee and everything, you know. So I kind of kept away from them, you know. I kept in my office and whatever, because it wasn't only the postmaster, but the assistant postmaster. They had sent to St. John's on this thing, so, you know, and put me in there from an office like this to, well, my dear. So anyway, one of the young men there knew my Nicky, you know, my husband Nicky. So they had this little room, you know, where they'd have coffee and everything. So I said, I'll keep away from them, because I really felt bad, you know. I said, how could they do this, you know? So anyway, by and by, I went for the coffee. This one that knew my husband says, he said, Doreen, come on in and have coffee with us, you know. I said, well, I don't feel... He said, come on. So then, you know, they made me feel really welcome, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and